The universe is vast and dark, stretching ever into the unknown. 1973. Alien life had finally descended onto the Eurasian continent. A large-scale invasion of the planet soon commenced. Landing in the city of Kashgar in the autonomous region of the People's Republic of China, humanity found itself embroiled in a costly war with the invaders. Having lost a defensive war against them on the moon, humanity had been forced to retreat back to Earth. Now, rising from their point of impact on the surface of the Earth, the aliens began a relentless assault in all directions. It was here that humanity saw their capabilities in overwhelming numbers, spreading like a virus, consuming plant life, animals, people, and even man-made structures. The Chinese military put up a hasty yet effective initial defense. However, it would all be for naught. With newer strains of the alien species constantly emerging, the aliens were soon able to render air power impossible to field. This new development caused the Chinese to turn to the international community for help. However, by this point, it was far too late. The aliens had begun construction on a colossal structure over the remains of Kashgar. They were designated as the Beta, officially an acronym for beings of extraterrestrial origin and adversaries to the human race. These aliens transcended the norms for all carbon-based life from a biological standpoint, with their many strains being utterly devoid of similarities to one another, aside from combat doctrine and general abilities. The Beta remain an enigma to humanity. Even after being embroiled in a costly war for over 30 years, humanity is no closer to understanding them. Each strain is wholly different from one another, sharing little fixed characteristics. From capture and study of the Beta, it is still unknown what they truly are, nor what level of intelligence they possess. With their grotesque physiques and innate ability to overturn conventional warfare, the few attributes they have in common baffled the scientific community. The Beta were incredibly robust and strong life forms, able to survive in extreme environments such as the vacuum of space and the crushing depths of the ocean floor. But perhaps their most notable trait is their ability to reproduce in overwhelming numbers. The Beta, thus, rely almost solely on their numbers when faced in combat, typically advancing in an order that could almost be considered a formation. When fighting the Beta, they are akin to a moving wall of flesh, bristling with teeth and limbs, their only weapons seemingly themselves, utilizing their appendages and bodies to attack their targets. Despite their tactics, the Beta include various strains capable of attacking at a distance as well, the Fort, Laser, and Heavy Laser class being such outliers. For the Beta to reach the battle lines of a modern military, it would seem impossible. To outside observers, they would have to advance through a hail of gunfire and artillery. However, due to their near infinite numbers, durability, and the abilities of each different strain, close contact with the Beta is a constant occurrence on the battlefield. With some exceptions, various strains can easily rip apart any person, vehicle, or ship hull. Many of the strains are capable of leaping onto a main battle tank and separating the turret from the chassis. Even the TSF, the Tactical Surface Fighter, humanity's response to the Beta, stands little chance once they are in physical contact. In addition, With the introduction of the laser strains during the fighting in Kashgar, the ability to use any form of air power became an impossibility without the incorporation of TSFs. Humanity has identified and confirmed many strains of beta. They are broken down into 8 known strains: the Destroyer, Tank, Grappler, Fort, Heavy Laser, Laser, Warrior, and Soldier classes. Serving as the vanguard of the Beta Advance, the Destroyer class is the hammer battering upon humanity's front lines. Standing tall at 16 meters, the Destroyer always charges ahead of the main Beta force. Its body is protected by an angular and extremely tough carapace, covering its front and part of its upper back. The Destroyer's carapace also possesses incredible regenerative abilities, with eye-like patterns on its armor, being wounds that have been regenerated. Furthermore, it has no visible armaments, and instead charges its enemy using its body and weight as a living battering ram. Owing to its incredible speed of travel, the Destroyer has a slower rate of turn, made worse the more significant its momentum. It suffers a near inability to move in tight spaces, especially in large groups. To humanity's advantage, the Destroyer's straightforward approach makes it predictable. If met with an impassable object, it will continue to ram itself against it. As well, given that the Beta attack in swarms, it is not uncommon for Destroyers to pile on top of one another when stopped. And while the carapace is extremely tough, it is not impenetrable and can be pierced with sufficient force, but to attack it head-on is highly inadvisable. Instead, its rear and underbody are notably weaker and not as well defended. Advancing behind the Destroyer, the Tank class is the next and most common Beta strain. It boasts the most significant number in a Beta herd, standing at 2.8 meters. It has no natural armor of its own, and is susceptible to fire from heavy weapons carried by infantry. Having 6 legs and 2 arms, it is able to grapple onto any armored vehicle or TSF. However, its most dangerous attribute is its mouth, which is capable of chewing through various materials, including supercarbon, a highly durable alloy developed by humanity. With speed and numbers, the Tank class has gained notoriety among the world's militaries for devouring tanks, TSFs, and even their crews. The second most abundant strain in a Beta group, the Grappler, will follow closely behind the Tank class. Standing at 12 meters, this strain has 2 exceptionally hardened forearms, utilized to attack its desired target. The forearms are also capable of acting as shields when under fire from the front. Despite its size and lack of speed in comparison to the Tank class, the Grappler is surprisingly nimble on its 4 legs. It can rotate freely on a pivot to keep its forearms always facing its enemy, and it boasts a relatively high capacity for human detection. As a result, it is best for TSFs to engage from the flanks whenever possible. It should also be noted that its protruding appendage on top of its main body is not the Grappler's head. Rather, it is a sensory organ. Destroying it does not kill the Beta. If its forearms can be bypassed, its body is easy to destroy with sustained fire or explosive ammunition. Standing relatively small at 3 meters, the Laser class deploys onto the battlefield under heavy escort and is credited for ending humanity's access to air power within its effective range. As its name suggests, this species emits a high-powered beam of laser irradiation from each of its ocular membranes. It has a frightening range of 10 kilometers high and a 30-kilometer diameter around itself. The laser class has the ability to track and destroy everything from mid-flight artillery shells to supersonic aircraft and even high-altitude bombers. It is, however, slow and unarmored and can be neutralized through the use of conventional munitions. As a result, it will always be located at the rear of any beta herd, thus necessitating specific strategies required in order to counter the capabilities of the laser class. The heavy laser class is an upgrade from its minor variant. Standing at 21 meters, it boasts a significantly more powerful laser and a maximum range of 100 kilometers in all directions. Unlike its sibling strain, the Hyde is exceptionally resilient to all but heavy caliber weapons. Its only notable weakness is its laser emitting organ, which is capable of closing shut when under fire. The heavy laser class is a rare sight on the battlefield, and military intelligence suggests their production is likely resource intensive. Thus, the beta field them in a finite quantity. The Fort class is named so for its extraordinarily tough body, and stands at an impressive 66 meters high and a frightening 55 meters in length. The Fort class also has a womb in which it can carry smaller beta strains. It possesses a tentacle weapon with a barbed tip, as well as having 10 legs that are as hard as a grappler's forearms, which it uses to attack anything in its direct path. The Fort's ability to use its stinger like a whip against any target renders it dangerous in the heat of battle. Should the stinger pierce its target, it will secrete acid. This acid has been known to even melt through supercarbon and most man-made materials. Having the ability to strike at range and a naturally robust hide makes the Fort class one of the toughest beta to deal with. Though challenging to face, its hide is not impregnable. TSFs can outmaneuver the Fort class and use 120mm shells on the joints around the leg segments to fatal effect. The more skilled surface pilots can even use blades to cut them down to size. Although, ideally, close quarters combat should be avoided, as their size and slow nature make them an easy target for artillery and MLRS launchers. The Warrior class is considered an anti-personnel strain, only showing up at the rear of any beta assault. Standing at 2.5 meters, it is responsible for hunting down infantry. Possessing one of the highest human detection abilities, they are able to seek their targets unimpeded compared to the larger strains, whose abilities to detect humans are drastically lower, making them deadly hunters in urban environments. The Warrior's body is lightly armored and susceptible to small arms fire. Despite lacking in defense, its agility and speed more than make up the difference. Its primary weapon is its trunk, tipped with a hand-like appendage that is strong enough to rip a human's head off in an instant. The Soldier class is similar to the Warrior class. However, it is theorized that they were made as an additional response to humanity. Standing at 2.3 meters, the Soldier was first encountered and classified in 1995. It is able to move almost silently on flat terrain, despite the perception of its shape suggesting otherwise. Additionally, it boasts the highest human detection ability of all known strains, coupled with 2 powerful arms and a mouth for tearing its victims apart and devouring them. The Soldier is a danger for light infantry to face, especially where support is lacking. What is perhaps more troubling is its eerie human-like appearance. Scientists have theorized that its appearance is likely based on reprocessed human DNA. The soldier possesses no armor or additional defense. As a result, small arms can dispatch them with concentrated fire, though facing them with infantry should be a last resort, only necessary if battle lines have been penetrated. The Beta are humanity's greatest threat, proving that they are no longer at the apex of life on Earth. The war has gone on for 3 decades, driving humanity to the brink, exhausting every avenue from technology to strategy. Humanity can only fight and weather the endless Beta hordes, enduring until victory can be assured. All the while, the brave men and women fighting on various fronts remain the bulwark against an alien species hell-bent on the extinction of humankind.